Hello everyone, my name is Chase Chappell and welcome to Module 4, Retargeting Strategy. And today we're going to be going over the retargeting strategy as a whole, what audiences are included with it, and the pixel events you want to use for retargeting, and then as well the testing budget that we will use. And when we have pixel events, we want to make sure that before we launch retargeting, we have enough pixel events to retarget. And especially with iOS 14 being here and that being out now, that's one of those things that can take away from your retargeting audience. So you want to make sure your audiences are big enough, and from the data and the research we've been doing, we found that page views over 2,000 is, as long as you have more than 2,000 page view events, that's a good start for retargeting. And then for content views, we're looking at 1,000 plus, add to cart 500 plus, and then purchase retargeting 300 plus. And a purchase retargeting is essentially you retargeting an audience who's already purchased from you and you offering them additional items that you might already have or additional services. You're essentially upselling them, cross-selling them, or selling them a product that they might have already bought from you before, except you're trying to get them to buy it for somebody else. So when we look at our pixel events, you want to go into your actual ads manager, go to your pixel, and look at your events to see how much data you have. Because it's really important that we have the right amount of data in order for us to really start with retargeting testing. And in this case, the view content looks like it's at 8.8 thousand in the last 28 days, so that's fine with us. Retargeting for the add to cart has about 2,200 add to cart, so that's also a great metric. We're going to go ahead and exclude not targeting initiate checkout, because a lot of times people have stores where people will visit that store and they'll just choose the buy now button and it skips the initiate checkout, and then other people have different avenues for when somebody adds the cart. They don't necessarily initiate checkout from there forward, so that event is kind of skewed, so we're going to go ahead and avoid that specific audience. And then for purchase, we're going to also retarget that if they have over 300 plus, and in this case we have 394, so therefore we're going to create an audience. So let's go ahead and get into it. You're going to go to your ads manager, you're going to hit create, and we're going to start with a conversions campaign, and we're going to go ahead and choose continue. We're then going to turn on our naming templates like we had previously. This is not going to be a CBO campaign. This is just going to be our retargeting. And then what we're going to do is hit next. We're going to choose website because that's where we want people to go. We're going to choose our pixel, and we're going to choose our purchase conversion event. We don't want to optimize for anything other than purchases. There we go. Now we're going to set our daily budgets to 5, because keep in mind, it's very likely you'll reach this entire audience very quickly, so you don't really need a very high budget to begin with on retargeting. In this audience, we're going to go ahead and exclude purchase 180 day, because if they've already purchased, we don't want to have to retarget those people. And then we're going to do include, and we're going to start with our page view audience if we have one. So custom audience, and we're going to go ahead and do a page view. Let's hit create custom audience. We're going to do a page view 180 day. Page view. And then we're going to do 180 days, so that way we get the most amount of data in there, because that's going to give us a big retargeting audience to pull from. Then we're going to do 180 days. And then we'll just hit create audience. We'll remove it from exclude and add it into include. Alright, so now we have our page view 180 day, and as you can see, Facebook's also stating the audience size may have decreased because some people might not be included, so therefore we want to go for a higher time range so that way we can get the most amount of people in here as possible. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look at leaving our audience targeting open here. Don't change any the details here unless you have other locations that you're actually going to be going after. We don't in this case. It's just going to be US for us, so we're going to leave that. The rest of this we're going to leave alone, and we're going to continue going down here. We're going to leave automatic placements on, conversions yes, and then we're going to make sure this says 7-day click and 1-day view. All right. And so everything is now finished. We'll turn our template on, and page view 180 day is there. And that is our first retargeting audience. Now we'll go to the ad level and we're just going to delete this ad, and we'll be coming back in a different module talking about what types of ads you want to include in retargeting versus cold and so forth. Now we're going to duplicate this specific ad set. And the reason we're duplicating it is because we want to split out this data, because if you combine your retargeting audiences, what can happen is the algorithm then optimizes to show it to the person who's most likely to convert, yes, but you're missing out on people who've recently added to cart, which you want to make sure you're getting in front of those people sooner rather than later. So you want to make sure that you're dedicating budget to each step of the funnel. That way you can guarantee that you're getting in front of people at the most relevant times. So for add to cart, we're going to go ahead and hit create new, custom audience, do website. And if you have over 300 conversions on add to cart, then great in the last 30 days, because that's the audience we're going to go with. If you don't have over 300 in the last 30 days, then just make your time frame bigger until you do. And if you have 180 day for your add to cart and you still don't have 300 add to carts, then don't create any audiences until you do. That way you can guarantee the best success for yourself. Add to cart, 180, actually nope, 30 day, and then we'll just hit create audience. I'm going to add this here, remove page view, and now we can scroll down, and this is finished. And then we'll move along to our next audience. We don't need this copy here. We'll continue scrolling down. Our next one is going to be our content view. Now, a lot of times what you can do is if you set up a dynamic retargeting, you could do a content view and add to cart, but we'll be covering that in a different module as well. So we'll do custom audience, website, view content, and we're going to do 60 day on this one, just so that way we get a little bit more data. That way we're really covering all bases here. And create audience. And that audience is now here. And then finally, what we're going to do next is we're going to duplicate this audience one more time, and we're going to create our purchase 180 day. And essentially we're covering one, we're covering a higher part of the funnel, and two, we're covering a lower part of the funnel, which is retargeting people who've already purchased before, which is really great for us because now we can get people to buy multiple times. So this is a purchase 180 day, and we're not excluding anything here because these people have already purchased before, so we want to make sure that we're now just solely going after them, because people buy from brands multiple times. You're doing a great disservice to yourself by not retargeting people who've already purchased from you in the past. They're already customers of you. They've already enjoyed the product or service that you provided them, and they might want to recommend it to friends, family, leave a review on your ad. They might even want to purchase again for themselves. So you want to give them this opportunity so that way you can really maximize your results and give them more opportunities to buy from you. Great brands know this, and they spend a lot of money on retargeting current customers because they know the lifetime value of this is very, very valuable. And so you really want to focus on this if you want to be a great Facebook advertiser. Many people forget this audience and never cater to people who purchased from them in the past. And that is a heavy mistake. So once you've added the purchase 180 day, you can go ahead and remove these words that say copy, just so that way it's all clean. And these are the 4 audiences that are ready to go for retargeting. Now, we're going to talk more about optimizations in another module. We're also going to talk about advanced retargeting audiences such as dynamic in a later module as well. So stay tuned for those videos because those are going to have some very specific and detailed audiences that we're going to actually cover on how to create them, what ways they play a factor in getting good results for you, and audiences that you might have never heard of that you can actually test that perform really well in retargeting. So just to recap what we covered in this video, we just covered the retargeting strategy for the initial 4 audiences for testing, the pixel events we're going to use for retargeting, the testing budget, so that way you know if you can create a retargeting audience. And if you don't have enough events, try to extend your total time range, whether it's a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, or 180-day, so that way you can get enough pixel events. And if you don't have enough pixel events even at the 180-day range, go ahead and hold off on creating a retargeting until you have enough events, because otherwise your ads might not deliver. So in the next video, we'll be covering more advanced strategies here.